Hi, I'm Renee Seltzer, and in this video I want to cover everything about getting colleges to improve their conversion rates, grow enrollments, and improve your yield. So my background is 20 years of higher ed marketing, and that includes everything from paid search, demand gen, SEO, branding, communication strategy, lead nurturing, everything, the whole kit and caboodle. So what I want to do is create this whole series of videos on how to get you to enhance your marketing efforts and enroll more students at a lower cost. So thanks for joining today. This video is going to accompany an article that I'll have either embedded in this video, or you'll find it on YouTube, and there's a link below. So welcome, and I hope you can subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we really look forward to developing this relationship and adding value. So one of the things that I see all the time is schools that tell me, well, I don't want to be salesy. I don't want to come off as one of those types of schools. So by enhancing your conversion and really putting the students' perspective first, you are servicing the student, you are not selling the student. So all of these recommendations are actually how to make the student's life easier. So really take it from that. It's kind of like how you tweak your perspective. Instead of focusing on, well, I don't want to come off pushy, I don't want to come off desperate. What you're really doing is just making the information easier for them to find. You're telling your story in a more cohesive and easy to find way. So just really look at it as from a service perspective, that you are a service organization and you're here to help them. So really so I wanted to dispel the myth that if you do these things, you're really focusing on being a sales organization, and you're not. You're an education organization. The next one is, a lot of times we have people that come to our website and then they don't, apply, or they don't do anything, right? They just come to the website and then they leave. So if you really look at your website analytics, you'll see that a ton of people don't persist. So we're gonna, in a separate video, really walk through all the different elements that you can do on your website that's gonna get more people to inquire. And one of the very first tips, let's just get started with this on your website, is you have an apply now. Some schools have a request information form. If your school doesn't have one, it needs one right today. Because what happens is, not everybody who comes to your school is already sold that your school is the right one for them. So they want to get some information, and this is your opportunity to really tell your story, what differentiates your school, why your school is special, what kind of outcomes, what's different by the numbers. We call that like social proof. So social proof is making someone's decision easier for them, so they don't have to kind of make it on their own. What they're looking for is, okay, how many graduates went here? What are starting salaries for graduates? So these are all proof things that your education is a good one. So don't just assume when someone comes to your site that they're going to know all that. You have to communicate that to them. So by collecting their information and putting a request for information button on your website, and you can actually just have the form show on your website, because that converts actually better than a button that takes them to another page. They're going to get the opportunity to start building that relationship with you. Okay, so very, very, very important. Don't skip that step. Build the relationship, and it might be a slow, relationship. So not everybody who goes on a date gets married right away. Sometimes they have to date for a year before they pop the question, no, this is the one. So that's where the next step is lead nurturing. Once you get that information, what are you going to do with it? If you just take the information and nothing happens, then that didn't add value to you either. So the very next step is, once you collect the information, make sure the thank you page on your site is compelling. And in the article, I actually provide a couple examples, but use video, use social proof, use all these things. So your thank you page is the very first chance that you start to kind of prime them for enrollment. And I don't say that like, here's an apply now button, enroll, because that's self-serving. If you're always just talking about enroll, you're not adding value. You're not helping to differentiate your school. You're just being very transactional in your communications. I'm talking about, you have to really kind of wow them and get them excited to be a part of your college and to be a student there. So if there's videos, not just of somebody graduating, most people are not necessarily just going to school for the experience of going to school. Those are usually your seniors that are going on to be freshmen at big state universities or schools like that. Most students are going to school for the end in mind, the degree. So that's why a lot of schools immediately went to, let's show them pictures and videos of graduation so they could visualize themselves graduating. That's awesome. Don't stop doing that. But don't necessarily always lead with that either. Most people have to get a couple questions answered first before they really could visualize themselves at your school. They want to know, do you have the program that I have? If you don't have the program that I have, do you have somebody that's going to help me figure that out? Then the next one is, how am I going to pay for this? How much does it really cost? A lot of times your tuition pages at most schools are there's just fee. And you have no sense of what this is actually going to cost and maybe what financial aid is going to cover. I've seen some schools who have epically good financial aid pages where they say, 60% of my students get full scholarships or tuition. Financial aid covers this much, and they do such a nice job to make it easy for someone. So, look at your financial aid page or your tuition page and say, is this compelling? And does this spark more questions than it does answers? Then you need to know that your team needs to revamp that page. Also, don't be elusive about what your tuition costs. We're at a point of life of transparency. Most people really want you to be epically transparent. So schedule a demo. I look forward to having a conversation with you. Thanks for spending some time with me today. And until next time, bye. Let's schedule a demo together and see if why not's a good fit for your school.